This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV for Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. I'm Derek Gilbert. We're back on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, at 5 in 10 is the address. Please subscribe, share that with your friends, and then guarantee that we don't get canceled. You can do that with the free Skywatch TV app, which brings all of our video content directly to your device. Details on that coming up before the end of this program. Topic number 5 today, shakeup in Kyiv. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has confirmed that he's replacing his defense minister, Alexei Reznikov. This comes as it's now admitted that the counteroffensive launched in June is faltering, will probably not achieve its main strategic objective in the southern part of the country, the town of Melitopol. Also coming as a corruption investigation has been launched into defense ministry spending and the potential diversion of state funds. You might remember we reported recently that recruitment officers around the country had been fired by Zelensky as it became known that they were taking bribes to let men out of military service. The head of Ukraine's state property fund system, Rustem Umerov, will replace Reznikov. Reznikov has been in charge of the defense ministry since the invasion began last February. Now, without a doubt, this is the most significant shakeup in Ukraine's government since the beginning of the war. Reznikov confirmed Monday that he's formally submitted his resignation. He was asked for it, and that he's expected to be appointed to a prime diplomatic position like ambassador to the United Kingdom, getting him out of the country, perhaps. Anyway, on the same day, Ukraine's defense ministry approved an amended list of medical conditions that are now acceptable for military service. In other words, prior to this, the following military or medical conditions could get you exempted from military service, but from now on, people with clinically cured tuberculosis, viral hepatitis, slowly progressing blood diseases, thyroid gland disorders, those who are HIV positive but without symptoms, are now considered fit for military service in Ukraine. And again, as we said last week, all men between 18 and 60, now including those with these conditions, are eligible for military service in Ukraine. That's not really a good sign. Topic number 4, Burning Man. You probably have seen over the weekend the annual Burning Man Festival, Transformational Festival, became a muddy mess as the desert in remote northwestern Nevada received the equivalent of about 2 to 3 months worth of rain in the span of a few days. Now, this is held every year, draws about 72,000 people each year to an area that is a dried lake bed. So when you get ½ inch to an inch of rain hitting it, it turns into a miry, alkaline mud that sticks to everything and makes it impossible to walk for any distance, and driving is nearly impossible unless you've got an all-terrain vehicle with special tires. The RVs, forget it, they're stuck. All roads into and out of Burning Man were closed over the weekend. Now, by the time you're watching this, roads may have reopened. They were expecting more rain on Sunday, and people, because you couldn't get vehicles in or out, were told to shelter in place, conserve food and water and fuel, because it was just impossible to get anything in or out. That also means you had a health concern because the porta potties couldn't be emptied. And as we spoke to friends of ours who are there at Burning Man, they're there to witness. Carl Teichrieb, author of the book Game of Gods, 2 friends from Canada, Brian and Audrey Vanderklee, manning the tent of the unknown God, which is a reference to Paul on the Areopagus, Mars Hill in Athens, where he debated the Epicureans and the Stoics. They've been witnessing while there. And one interesting aspect of this is that suddenly people stuck in place without the ability to leave, suddenly confronted with the reality that life is not always predictable. Your mortality may come at you a lot more quickly than you actually think. Now, as of Sunday night, when I talked to Carl, 72,000 people, that's more than double the number of people who live in our county here in southwest Missouri, still stuck in place, although some had managed to hike out to the road and then hitchhike away, including comedian Chris Rock. But still, a lot of people stuck in place as of this recording on Monday morning. Now, I recognize the temptation to laugh or gloat as a Christian, looking at a pagan transformational festival that features an installation like this, the Temple of Babel, or the Chapel of Babel, it's called. But please remember, Again, more than 70,000 souls at this particular event. At least one death confirmed, another one reported on Sunday night, not related to the weather. I mean, when you get the equivalent of a small city in one place, statistically, the odds are that somebody will pass of natural causes during the course of an event, and that appears to have been what happened there. There have been some rumors floating around online about very dangerous pathogens being spread. That's just rumor. There are no confirmed reports of anything like that coming out of Burning Man. But anyway, the bottom line here is this: pray for those who were there trying to get home again, and pray also that this opens the eyes of those who are there looking for spiritual enlightenment, that perhaps they consider their own mortality a little more seriously than they have to this point. Specifically, where are they going to spend eternity? Topic number 3, Joshua's altar. The site of Joshua's altar, Mount Ebal in Israel, in danger of becoming Joshua's subdivision. The Palestinian Authority began building a neighborhood on the site of Joshua's altar. This according to Channel 12 in Israel. An inspector from the Samaria Regional Council's Lands Department on Sunday discovered that the PA had started paving roads as part of a project to build 32 new housing units on the site of Joshua's altar. You can barely make it out there, but that is a bulldozer grading the land on the site of Joshua's altar. Now, a couple of years ago, teams from the PA began removing some of the stones, the outer wall, the footprint-shaped enclosure around the altar, to grind up and use as substrate for a road. Following this disclosure, Israel's civil administration said the construction vehicle had been confiscated. The archaeologist in charge of antiquities affairs in Judea and Samaria had opened an investigation. This site is near Nablus, ancient Shechem. It's an Area B, which means it's under PA control, but joint Palestinian and Israeli security control. But the head of the Samaria Regional Council, Yossi Dagan, demanded that the civil administration put a stop to this work immediately. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant had said in January that Israel would not allow Palestinians to damage the site, but yeah. Topic number 2, contacting the dead. A new survey by the Pew Research Center found that a stunning proportion of Americans recently reported interacting with dead relatives through dreams and other means. Now, the question is how this survey defines the word interacting. 53% of Americans said they've had interactions with deceased loved ones, with that proportion saying they'd interacted through either a dream or some other form. What is the some other form? 46% of Americans said they dreamed about a deceased loved one. 31% said the interaction unfolded another way. 15% said they've had a deceased family member communicate with them. And that is where we need discernment. Grief is a powerful and easily exploited emotion. And the denizens of the spirit realm, the fallen members of the spirit realm, have no qualms about manipulating that to draw us away from Jesus Christ and the hope that we have in Him. It's one thing to dream about a deceased family member. I have dreams of my late father on a fairly regular basis. But I do not for a moment believe that I'm communicating with him in those dreams. But sadly, there are people who do see these as communications and, again, believe that there are other means through which they are being communicated with by deceased loved ones. God made it very clear to Moses that the Israelites, and by extension us, are not supposed to have this kind of communication because the spirit that answers is almost certainly not your loved one. Coming up, your underwear may be spying on you. If the U.S. government has its way, that's next on 5 and 10.
There is an all-out war being waged on the minds of an entire generation of today's young people.
State lawmakers are now questioning how 70 foster kids can go missing.
They have convinced us in the West that children are a burden. Birth rates are below replacement levels just about everywhere in the Northern Hemisphere.
People would have to be utterly blind or insane not to recognize the current heartbreaking onslaught against our most vulnerable citizens, our children.
Children who have been thrown up against walls and locked in closets. Children who hide under their beds in fear and whose nightmares are real. Children who have been beaten with 2x4s, whipped with bicycle chains, and burned with cigarette butts.
Children living in foster care are 4 to 5 times more likely to commit suicide than those who are not.
An agenda to submit our current generation of children to a fate far worse than death is being carried out.
I was 5 years old. I was doing dishes. My mom was so mad. She had picked up one of the steak knives and shoved it through my hand and just walked away.
Who will stand in the gap for these children? These are real lives.
Item number 1 today, boy, what will they think of next? The federal government has spent about $22 million in an effort to develop smart clothing that can spy on its wearer and its surroundings. This is similar to other projects funded by military and intelligence agencies. This is being undertaken by the Intelligence Advanced Research Projects Agency, or IARPA, which is a less well-known and secretive counterpart to the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, which you've probably heard of. IARPA, a little more secretive. IARPA's website says it invests federal funding into high-risk, high-reward projects to address challenges facing the intelligence community. Apparently, one of the challenges facing the intelligence community is getting clothing to spy on people. This is billed as the largest single investment to develop active smart textile. The program wants to develop clothing capable of recording audio, video, and geolocation data. The program is called Smart Electrically Powered and Networked Textile Systems. Smart Electrically Powered and Networked Textile Systems. Now, I'll give you a minute to figure out the acronym there. Yes, the United States taxpayers have spent $22 million to develop smart e-pants. Smart e-pants. You can't make this stuff up. Well, during the month of September, as our way of thanking you for your support for the work we do at Skywatch TV, we'll send you a copy of the wonderful book by David Heavner, True Power. There has never been a better time, a more important time to understand the power that comes to us through the indwelling of the Holy Spirit. David Heavner, fascinating fellow who's gifted, very talented musician, actor, writer, director, very creative sort, but he's also been on the inside of Hollywood. He's seen Babylon up close and personal. We'll send you a copy of David's book if you're in the U.S. or Canada. For your donation of any amount during the month of September, find out more online, skywatchtv.com, or look for the red donate button, or you can call us toll-free during business hours, 844-750-4985. This week on Skywatch TV, we're talking about Whispering Ponies Ranch. That's what your support goes to underwrite. The work at Whispering Ponies Ranch through partner ministries like Royal Family Kids, who work with children in foster care between the ages of 9 and 11. What we do at Skywatch TV is raise funds for Whispering Ponies Ranch so that Royal Family Kids and other ministries that use the facility don't have to pay a dime. They never have to make the decision, which child do we leave home because we can't afford to bring them. Your support makes that possible. Our broadcast schedule for the over-the-air program, skywatchtv.com/channels. You can watch it right now at our website. As always, all of our video content is archived there, skywatchtv.com. You can also watch it right now at Roku or Apple TV if you have the Skywatch TV channel for your set-top box. You can also check it out at the YouTube channel for the main program at Skywatch TV Now. Our Rumble channel also has all of our video content, but better yet, get our free app. The Skywatch TV app for iOS, Android, and Amazon Kindle Fire phones and tablets bypasses the gatekeepers of big tech, brings you all of our video content, a calendar of upcoming events, and much more. Check it out. It is absolutely free. Again, iOS, Android, Amazon, Kindle Fire. We've got links to all of those app stores at our website, skywatchtv.com. You'll find the link in the top menu bar. Thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.